Good evening, everyone. So, for today's video, we will talk about the famous photograph of Kevin Carter, which is Starving Child in the Vulture. So, first, we will talk about who is Kevin Carter. So, an award winning photojournalist from South Africa, he was born on September 13th, 1960. So, he was also the member of the Bongbong Club. Bongbong Club is associated with four photographers who were active within South Africa between 1990 and 1994. So his photograph, The Starving Child and a Vulture, portraying the Sudan and famine in 1993, won him a Pulitzer Prize. So Kevin Carter was born in Johannesburg and he grew up in a middle-class family and all-white locality. He often saw black people being arrested by police in his area since they were living there illegally. So, before, ang mga black is dili sila pwede magpuyo along with white people. So, pag makitaan sila, it is considered illegal. So, dapat, kanang dakpon sila. After completing high school, he left his further studies to become a pharmacist and joined the Air Force. And after 4 years, he defended a mess hall waiter from being abused, and as a result, Carter was beaten up by a serviceman. So he left without informing anyone in order to restart his life as an RJ or radio jockey named David. 13 years later, he shot his prize-winning and heart-wrenching photo in Sudan of a starving child trying to reach for food when a vulture landed close by. The picture was bought by the New York Times and appeared in March 1993. The photo sparked a series of questions related to the child in the photo. They wanted to know what happened, and later it was published by many other newspapers worldwide. Unfortunately, Kevin Carter killed himself by inhaling carbon monoxide in July 1994 when he was 33. He is a rather short-lived photographer but ambitious and brave towards showing cruelty and famine.
Hello everyone. Hello Miss Gayas. I'm Hani Marie Rodriguez and I'm going to continue about who is Kevin Carter. Since his childhood, he was facing the implications of apartheid, a policy of racial segregation of the black population of the state. He was a witness of cruelties and injustice performed by police regarding black people who live in the area considered illegal by the system. So, Carter's childhood was marked by the racial tensions and injustices prevalent in South Africa during the apartheid era. This environment likely shaped his later work as a photojournalist as he was exposed to the harsh realities of racial inequality, poverty, and social injustice from a young age. As he grew older, Carter became increasingly aware of the deep-seated issues in his country and became drawn to photography as a medium for expressing the struggles and injustices he witnessed. He began his career as a photojournalist, capturing powerful and often disturbing images that shed light on the social and political issues plaguing South Africa. Also, Carter's most famous photograph, taken in 1993, depicts a vulture stalking a starving child in Sudan during famine. The haunting image brought attention to the desperate plight of famine-stricken individuals and won him the Pulitzer Prize in 1994. However, this photograph also became a source of controversy and ethical debate regarding the role of photojournalists and their responsibilities in such distressing situations.
Hello everyone, and hello Miss Kayas. I'm Rafael Milanan. I'm presenting this assigned report. What was the story behind this photograph? So the confrontational photograph was taken during the early 1990s when Sudan was engaged in its decades-long civil war. Kevin Carter published this photograph originally in the New York Times to show people how there should be more effort put into helping the people of Sudan. It showed a young starving girl crawling toward a feeding center set up by the United Nations. So, the story behind this photograph is which confronted the largest issue facing Sudan and its people poverty, and a small girl in need of food is shown crawling toward a feeding station set up by the United Nations. A lifeless wasteland with no other indication of current or past human activity may be seen in the backdrop, and it appears more like a location where little vegetation has grown or where a calamity has occurred. This was most likely brought on by Sudan's severe sun, which frequently causes drought that lasts for many years, and a vulture may be seen a bit closer to the spectator and is clearly stalking the child, who is the main subject of the picture. And so that, given the infant protruding ribcage from her chest and collapsed position on the ground, the malnourished child appears to be embolized by hunger, regardless of whether the infant was genuinely smaller than the prey animal behind it. Quarter angle of the two creators' distances create the impression that the vulture was at least as large as the child.
The photograph Starving Child in the Vulture, made by Kevin Carter, is one of the pictures that impressed the souls and influenced the minds of people. Since 1993, when it has been made, it remains a subject of discussion, referring not only to political issue but also to deep social, psychological, and ethical problems. It depicts an emaciated and starving child, a victim of civil war in Sudan. So, in a country of Sudan, where before the war, one of the three inhabitants suffered from hunger, and children are dying of hunger when it could have been completely avoided. At least 498 children in Sudan, and probably hundreds more, have died of starvation. When the war starts on April 15, we never imagined seeing so many children dying of starvation, but this is the new reality in Sudan.
I am Hart Sharma, and I will discuss the third paragraph. The photograph captured by Kevin Carter, which is the starving child and the vulture. There was a child that nearly dying habang papunta sa isang feeding center na set up by United Nations na yung bata is nag-aantay na sana mabigyan ng pagkain. Habang naglalakad yung bata, there is a vulture aside that is eagerly awaiting his death. But aside of that, Kevin Carter was impressed and shocked sa kanyang nakita kahit naman nawala ng pag-asa sa kabila ng magulong buhay at malapit na kamatayan ay hindi pa rin nawawalan ng pag-asa yung bata.
Overview. 3 months after the photograph was published and only a week after being awarded the Pulitzer Prize, the artist Kevin Carter committed suicide. So, Kevin Carter's suicide stemmed from two widely believed reasons. Pinakauna kay, he can't handle the fame he got from winning the prestigious award. Pangduha, he felt guilty from all the bashing he got from people. Kay he confessed dati sa iyahang colleagues nga he waited 20 minutes to help the poor and dying girl. Kay gahope siya nga he might took a photo of a vulture spreading its wings behind the girl, making it more appealing to the viewer. So many people find the photo an eye-opener to the world how hard and cruel the life of the Sudanese from the war, and thank Carter for it. Pero, a lot of the people bash him why it took him a while to help the girl and he chose to prioritize to get a nicer photo. Either of these were the reasons believed why he ended his life.
Deepening. Carter was known for his bravery to enter the most dangerous situations without fear and for the determination to document and represent for the wide publicity the cruelties and social injustice. Emotional detachment allowed Carter and other photojournalists to witness countless tragedies and continue the job. The world's intense reactions to the vulture photo appeared to be punishment for this necessary trait. Later, it became painfully clear that he hadn't been detached at all. He had been deeply, fatally affected by the horrors he had witnessed. Carter took a special assignment in Sudan, where he shot the famous vulture photo. He spent a few days touring villages full of starving people. All the while, he was surrounded by armed Sudanese soldiers who were there to keep him from interfering. The photos below are evidence that even if he decided to help the little girl, the soldiers wouldn't have allowed it. The first was shot by Carter himself. Yes, winning the Pulitzer Prize put pressure on him, but it didn't lead directly to his death. Rather, it only added to the pile of stress and guilt he had accumulated while documenting some of the most gruesome corners of the world. But thanks to his brain-stirringly memorable photo,
such a commitment described his respective personal qualities and was known for those involved in the discussion about the photograph behind his decision not to intervene. There was an ethic of a professional photographer. Kevin Carter's decisions not to interfere with a child in the vulture created a backlash. People called him heartless, but little did they know that Kevin Carter, like many professional photographers, adhered to a code of ethics, and that includes principles such as non-interference and a duty to document events accurately. These ethical standards aim to maintain the integrity of journalism and ensures the photographers don't become participants in the events that they cover. And in this picture, you can see that Kevin Carter's was covering reality. So he cannot interfere with that because it will not be reality. It will be an edit or something that he created if he ever intervened. Second is, Carter was making in a dangerous and war-torn region, where resource and immediate assistance might not have been readily available. This added to the complexity of the situation. He was also working under extreme stress which can affect decision making. And lastly, as a photographist, Carter had the responsibility to inform the world about the suffering and the dire condition faced by people in Sudan during the famine. His photographs played a crucial role in raising awareness about his humanitarian crisis. Picture created an event that waked a lot of people in terms of the reality of the war. The example that we pick both circulate the struggle that the author faced and what the picture really represents. The first is about the ethical dilemma that Kevin Carter faced in his photograph of the starving child in the vulture. The example is about a Syrian father who lost twins to a poison gas in the aftermath of chemical attack in Syria. Both Kevin Carter and Zainab Karam face a ethical dilemma. They revolve around the tension between responsibility to inform and raise awareness and the duty to respect the dignity and well-being of the individual affected in the distressing situation. These ethical dilemmas continue to be a central discussion in the photographism and the media coverage of humanitarian crisis. It also relates to the fact that these pictures is all about the effect of the war. Next example represent the pictures. It's about malnutrition that every country has struggles with. It's about the story behind the hunting photo of a starving Afghan boy. Adequate this photograph is hard to read at first. Under the sea of orange, we can see barely distinguish a firm. An infant Afghan boy named Gul Ahmad who suffered from acute malnutrition. His mother has covered him with his orange scarf, protecting him from the heat and the dust of the place. We know Afghanistan, with just under 2.8 million people without enough food to eat, Afghanistan was added to the list of the countries with the most concerning level of hunger in early 2022. This is the reality that we face, that as year goes by, malnutrition is increased year by year. And this is the reference that we use. It is consists of 7 items and we use ABA styles. So again, this is our member. It is Katri May Ayang, Christy Lane Potria, Sandy Marie Butulan, Honey Marie Rodriguez, Aravela Milanes, Ellen Grace Langsam, Hart Sialmo, and Paul Anscar Genosas. Thank you so much.